Welcome to my channel. World Scene News. Subscribe to my channel for news updates all around the world. When Israel declared independence in 1948, it faced a harsh reality: a severe lack of water. The land was arid, and the existing water resources were insufficient to support the burgeoning population. The population doubled in just 3 years, straining already limited resources. New immigrants arrived in waves, each group adding to the demand for water, food, and shelter. Water was needed for drinking, building, industry, and most critically, agriculture. The agricultural sector was particularly vital as it was seen as the backbone of the new nation's economy. The north received some rainfall, but the vast Negev desert in the south was almost entirely dry. This disparity in water availability posed a significant challenge for national development. Israel's founders, led by David Ben-Gurion, believed the nation's future depended on settling the Negev. But how could anyone thrive in a place with almost no water? The vision was ambitious, but the reality was daunting. Water was strictly rationed, and every drop was precious. People had to adapt to a lifestyle of conservation, making the most out of the little water they had. Inefficient irrigation and constant shortages made it clear that local solutions weren't enough. The traditional methods of water management were failing to meet the needs of a growing nation. Leaders realized they needed a bold, nationwide answer: move water from where it was plentiful to where it was desperately needed. This required not just vision, but also innovation and determination. Water became a strategic national asset, as vital as security or the economy. The government prioritized water infrastructure, recognizing that the nation's survival depended on it. This mindset sparked a culture of innovation and determination. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to develop new technologies and methods to manage and distribute water more efficiently. The challenge: create a system to defy geography and bring life to the desert. It was a monumental task that required unprecedented collaboration and ingenuity. The answer would be a project of unprecedented scale, a man-made river to reshape the nation's future. This ambitious endeavor aimed to transport water across vast distances to where it was needed most. Israel's water crisis would become the catalyst for one of the world's most ambitious engineering feats. The success of this project would not only secure the nation's future, but also serve as a model for water management worldwide. The solution was the national water carrier, a giant river of steel and concrete, stretching across the heart of Israel's arid landscape. This ambitious project was conceived not just as a feat of engineering, but as a bold answer to the country's most pressing challenge: water scarcity in a land where every drop counts. The carrier would transport precious freshwater from the Sea of Galilee in the lush north, all the way to the parched and sun-baked south, forging a vital link between water-rich and water-poor regions. It was a vision that promised to unite the country, bridging natural divides and bringing hope to the desert. The ultimate goal was clear: make the Negev bloom, transforming barren sand into fertile ground, and enabling new cities and farms to thrive where none had existed before. This was not just about survival, but about building a future. The route of the carrier spanned 130 kilometers, a monumental journey that crossed hills, valleys, and vast stretches of desert through a network of pipes, canals, tunnels, and reservoirs. Each element was carefully designed to overcome the harsh terrain and ensure that water could flow steadily, even in the most challenging conditions. Construction began in 1958 and finished in 1964, a monumental achievement for a young nation with limited resources. Thousands of workers, engineers, and visionaries came together, braving the desert heat and working tirelessly to bring the project to life. The project became a symbol of Israeli ingenuity, determination, and the physical embodiment of the dream to build a modern state in an unforgiving land. It inspired pride and hope, showing what could be achieved through unity and vision. The national water carrier was more than infrastructure. It was a lifeline for generations, bringing clean water to homes, fields, and communities that once seemed impossible to sustain. It turned the vision of making the desert bloom into reality, forever changing the landscape and the destiny of a nation. Building the national water carrier was an epic engineering challenge, one that many thought was simply impossible. The vision was bold: to bring life-giving water from the north, across mountains and deserts, to the parched heart of Israel. It would require not just technical skill but also unwavering determination and a willingness to defy the odds. The Sea of Galilee sits 213 meters below sea level, nestled in a natural basin surrounded by hills. This unique geography made it both a precious resource and a daunting starting point for the project. To move water south, engineers had to pump it up an astonishing 600 meters, an elevation gain that pushed the limits of technology at the time. Only then could gravity take over, sending water flowing toward distant fields and cities. Massive pumping stations, like the Sapir station, were constructed to lift water out of the lake. These facilities became the beating heart of the carrier, operating day and night to keep the flow steady. Engineers carved tunnels through solid rock, blasted through mountains, and laid giant steel pipes deep underground. The work was grueling, often carried out in extreme heat and under tight deadlines. Open canals and vast reservoirs were designed to minimize evaporation in the harsh, sun-baked climate. Every drop was precious, and the system had to be as efficient as possible. Every structure, from the smallest valve to the largest canal, was optimized to conserve as much water as possible on its journey south. Innovative technologies like drip irrigation would later build on these foundations. The project cost the equivalent of nearly $4 billion today and involved thousands of workers from all walks of life. Laborers, engineers, and visionaries came together, united by a common goal. At launch, the national water carrier could move an incredible 450 million cubic meters of water per year, enough to transform entire regions and sustain millions of people. The national water carrier was a marvel of coordination, innovation, and sheer determination. It became a symbol of what could be achieved when a nation dreams big and works together. It proved that even the most audacious engineering dreams could become reality, inspiring future generations to tackle their own impossible challenges. Israel had built a man-made river to conquer the desert, turning vision into reality and forever changing the landscape of the nation. The national water carrier transformed the Negev desert. With a steady water supply, new cities like Arad and expanded towns like Be'er Sheva flourished. The carrier enabled urbanization, industry, and vibrant communities in the once barren south. Agriculture was revolutionized. Fields of crops and flowers appeared where only sand had been. Israeli farmers pioneered drip irrigation, maximizing every drop. The Negev became a major agricultural hub, boosting food security and exports. Jobs in rural communities grew, turning the desert into a land of opportunity. The project became a global symbol of innovation and resilience. The desert, once a barrier, was now a source of national pride. All of it was made possible by the life-giving flow from the north. The national water carrier sparked regional tensions. Israel's neighbors feared the project would reduce their share of the Jordan River, fueling political conflict. Water disputes contributed to the tensions leading up to the Six-Day War in 1967. Environmental concerns also emerged. Diverting water from the Sea of Galilee harmed the lower Jordan River and the shrinking Dead Sea. The project solved one problem, but created others, highlighting the complexity of shared water resources. It underscored the need for regional cooperation and holistic water management. By the 2000s, drought and population growth strained Israel's water supply again. The nation pivoted to the Mediterranean, investing in advanced desalination plants. Reverse osmosis technology turned seawater into fresh water, transforming Israel's water landscape. Within 2 decades, desalinated water became the backbone of the national supply, up to 80% for homes and cities. This shift reduced dependence on rainfall and the Sea of Galilee, providing a buffer against climate change. Desalinated water was integrated into the national water carrier, turning it into a flexible, multi-directional grid. Now, water could flow wherever it was needed, from coast to desert or north to south. Israel had redefined its water future by turning the sea into a limitless resource. In 2025, Israel stunned the world by reversing the national water carrier's flow. For the first time, desalinated seawater was pumped back into the Sea of Galilee to save the lake from drought. A new pipeline carried water from the coast to the north, gently replenishing the lake. The system could adjust flow as needed, balancing ecological health with national needs. This marked a new era, from exploiting natural resources to actively restoring them. The carrier, once built to drain the lake, now protected it. Israel's water system had evolved from survival to stewardship. The Mediterranean became a source not just for people, but for healing the environment. It was a bold response to climate change and a model for the world. The reversal of the national water carrier marked a new era in water management. Israel shifted from scarcity and extraction to abundance and stewardship. Desalination provided flexibility. Water managers could balance natural and manufactured sources. During wet years, reliance on the Sea of Galilee could increase. During droughts, desalination ramped up. The carrier became the backbone of a smart, resilient water grid. This shift reduced pressure on shared resources and opened doors for regional cooperation. Israel now sells desalinated water to neighbors, turning a former source of conflict into a tool for diplomacy. Water became a bridge, not a barrier. Israel's journey shows that water security is a process of constant adaptation and innovation. Israel's water story offers a blueprint for a thirsty world. The first lesson: treat water scarcity as a national mission, not just a technical problem. Political will and bold investment made the impossible possible. The second lesson: embrace technology and innovation. Build, adapt, and never stop improving. Israel's willingness to pivot from the national water carrier to desalination and environmental restoration was key. Flexibility and adaptation are vital in a changing climate. Most importantly, water can shift from a source of conflict to a catalyst for cooperation. By creating new water, Israel now shares it with neighbors, fostering stability. The world can move beyond zero-sum water wars. With vision and innovation, water can unite nations and secure the future.